Welcome to Everlasting Talk. Hello, welcome to Everlasting Talk. I'm your host Ever. Today we're doing a biography series on Alexander the Great. Before we get started, make sure to go and like all my social media, follow, subscribe, my Instagram, my X, YouTube. Check me out on Spotify, Twitch, Kick, Blogger, and get your merchandise at Spring. I really, really appreciate it. Let's get started. Alexander the Great, a king who is widely considered one of the greatest and most successful commanders in military history. Alexander the Great, born Alexander III of Macedon, was born on either July 20th or the 21st of 356 BC in Pelon, or Pella, which is in modern day northern Greece. It was the ancient capital of Macedonia. He was the son of King Philip II and Queen Olympias. He was raised in royalty and he was educated by Aristotle. Alexander was highly intelligent and displayed many leadership qualities since he got exposed to military life and tactics at his youth. Definitely made a difference in his future military career. When there's a story of when he was younger of the story of his horse Buliphilus, how they first connected. The Buliphilus was a wild horse. Nobody could be able to tame it. But Alexander, being intelligent as he was, he would go ahead and study the horse for a little while and notice that the horse was actually afraid of its own shadow. So Alexander, when he noticed that the sun was going to hit the horse, like, shine on the horse, he turned the horse around and the horse was calm. Eventually, from there, he would ride the horse and he'd be famously riding the horse throughout his campaigns as an adult. He even named a city after the horse, Bulisifia, which is crazy, right? So eventually, he grew up. Um, his father uh, died or was assassinated on 366 BC. His father actually took over Greece during this time because the Spartans and the Athenians, they were fighting in the Peloponnesian War, and before that, they were fighting off the Persians. So they were just militarily exhausted. So King Philip II went ahead and took over Greece. So Macedonia and Greece was part of Alexander's empire. His swift actions and brilliance on the battlefield, especially at the Battle of Churia, solidified his authority. He would go ahead and conquer Persia, Egypt, and going as far as India. Each victory led to expansion and expanding Greek culture. The height of Alexander's conquest was at the Battle of Goligala in 331 BC, where he beat the Persian king Darius III, a very pivotal moment in history. Um, However, it came at a cost of his army. His army was so tired of travel and conquest that they just refused to fight. They boycotted it. They realized that it was impossible for them to keep going because Alexander had this drive of wanting to do more, wanting to be more. I guess it just his drive, or he has something to prove. So he kept wanting to go and wanting to go, wanting to go, and it's something that eventually fried his army. And he realized that during that time where his army did not want to fight at all, that they were right, and he just had to go ahead and actually, you know, rule his new conquests of his new areas. He conquered, like I said, Persia all the way down to Egypt, Asia Minor, all the way to India. So that's what he realized he had to do that. Actually, there's a story. I don't know if it's a fact or not, where Alexander on on his way to India stopped in a city in Asia Minor, which is now modern day Turkey, in that area. There was a chariot tied to an axle with a complicated rope. He asked the locals of what it's called because he was very confused. They call it the Gordinian knot. It was said, or it was a myth or something, that if a person loosened it or took it off, They'll take all over, they'll take rule all of Asia. Alexander, being the smart individual he was, especially like the story I told you about his horse, he ended up taking out his sword and cut it in half. The locals realized that they never thought about that. They could have just cut the rope and they say you will rule all of Asia, and he almost did. I think if it wasn't for his army stopping, he probably would have gone all the way to China, or further. Who knows? He would have been in the Americas. We never know nowadays. But unfortunately, on June 10th, 328 BC, at the age of 32, he died of a mysterious illness in Babylon. Since he was young, since he was very young, he never had a clear successor. And with a pyro vacuum, it fragmented his once powerful kingdom into three different parts. So it looks like one of his generals, which I couldn't find the name of, got Macedonia and northern part of Asia Minor of the empire. One part went to Philipme the First, which he took over Egypt, which they ruled for over 100 years. The other one went to Selenius, which was the southern part of Asia Minor. The people that he ruled were called the Seleucids, otherwise known as the Syrians. So the people that are in Syria and Iraq and all that are descendants of him. So yeah, I mean, unfortunately, his death was a mystery. Nobody really knows really what it was. Many said it was poison. Others said it was accidental. Others said it was malaria. Obviously, he traveled through very exotic parts of Asia, so who knows what they've gotten. But he died very young. Um, I could tell you, um, an average person at his age never truly succeeded as much as he did. So the fact that he lived to 32 and succeeded so much is very, monumental in his legacy. He blended cultures. He provided a way for the Hellenistic period. The city of Alexandria became a center for learning and culture. There is the famous Pharaoh's Lighthouse, which was one of the seven ancient wonders of the world. I think one of his successors, I think actually, Philipme the First actually made Alexandria a library, one of the biggest libraries in the world. So he kept collecting books, and it was definitely a city that was very important. He liked to name cities after himself, so it's kind of crazy. But I could say that many leaders after his death were inspired by him. His military prowess, his cultural contributions were very powerful. But yeah, it took about 2 years to move his body from Macedonia to Macedonia. He was encased in a glass coffin, but it was very important for him. Especially to be seen as this important historical general. But yeah, like there's a what if. Who knows what would have happened if he continued? You never know. He would have fought, in China and Japan and Korea, and you know, who knows how far he could have gone. He could have gone so far, but you never know with what ifs. But yeah, some resources to check out. You could check out Alexander the Great, a 2004 movie. You could check out a documentary called In the Footsteps of Alexander the Great. You could check out a book called Alexander the Great by Robin Lane Fox. Also, there's a series on Netflix called Alexander, the Making of a God. It's on Netflix. Or the time of this recording, it's on Netflix. Check it out. It's a mix of historical, documentary and stuff like that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me today on Alexander the Great. Next time, hopefully you guys join me. It'll be on the uh, controversial figure of Joseph Goebbels. Well, thank you guys so much. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Check me out on Instagram, X, YouTube, Blogger, Twitch, Kick. Get your merch on Spring, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye, guys. Thank you for listening to this episode of Everlasting Talk. For more content, follow us on Twitch, Twitter,
YouTube, and Instagram at EverlastingTalk. Thank you.